Posted by Levelgraph. Found out wife cheated on me when she was visiting her hometown this week. I found out that my wife cheated on me when she went back to her hometown to visit her family and friends. We've been together for 9 years, married 5 years. We had some tension during that time, which made me realize she has a lot of issues about my behavior, which I feel like was an incentive for her to be with another man. Over the past year and a half we've both been in lockdown. She lost her job and was at home while I continued to work from home. When vaccinations were open to the public, she went back to her hometown to get vaccinated, so she could start to socialize after not being able to see her family for so long. I stayed back because of some immigration issues since I couldn't cross the border with her, Canada to US. May 28th. Everything was going along okay. We'd use FaceTime multiple times a day to chat. Then one day she says that she needs time alone to think about some stuff, so I say sure, I won't bother you. A few days go by and not a word from her, and as her husband I wanted to make sure she's okay, so I called her and all hell broke loose. She was crying. Tell me how frustrated she has been with me for years, all the pent-up issues she's had with me, big and small, during our entire relationship. Some of it was valid, some I didn't feel was totally true, but over the next few days the outcome of it was that I need to talk to a therapist to handle some issues I have. Which I accept. There are things I need to talk to a professional about. We don't have any financial, alcohol, gambling or addiction issues. Mostly anger management, communication, and certain control issues that I have. It was a little rough that week, but we started talking again. Things were going back to normal. I booked a ticket for her to come back home. Meanwhile, I felt like something was weird about her. She wasn't acting the way I've known her to be. She would always say I love you so much and start crying. First week of June, meanwhile, she mentions she's having vaginal burning, like a yeast infection with some discharge. She got tested and treatment for a yeast infection, and I joked with her to get an STD test too, just in case. She did get an STD test and it was negative, but the vaginal issue wasn't going away. June 23rd, so she comes back home and the following day books an online appointment with a doctor to get tested again, and when she talks to the doctor she went on to our balcony and closed the door. That was a huge red flag for me because she never, ever goes on to the balcony to talk. She did it a second time to talk to her closest friend, and I thought that's really weird. I knew something was up. Later that night I checked her phone to see if anything odd showed up in her messages or browser history. She deleted her entire browser history while she was in Arizona, another red flag. Then I find a screenshot of text messages she deleted but were still in a deleted folder, and they between her and another guy at the time she was changing flights in the Atlanta airport. She was upset with him because he didn't come to the dinner they had planned the night before she left for her hometown. I then went and checked her phone records, looking at the times she texted or called his number, and she had been in contact with him 5 days before she and I had our first serious conversation about marriage issues. I confronted her and learned that he was a longtime high school crush, and she saw him in the club one night when she went out with her friends. She kissed him in the club and went home with him that night. She saw him 3 more times after that in a public park, and planned to see him for dinner a final time before she came back to me. He didn't show up the final night, and she realized he used her. She said she felt guilty the day after her first hookup and realized she destroyed our marriage. She continued to see him because she felt like it was over between us, was lonely and need a male to give her attention and confidence. During that time she was seeing him, we were still talking, and often after we would talk she'd call him. There are just a lot of emotions right now for me to deal with. She said she went home with him because she had so many frustrations with me, and when she saw an old friend from her past she fell into temptation. I was even more upset that her closest friends let her go home with another man, and over the entire time she was there they didn't tell her that what she was doing was wrong. 3 of her closest friends knew and none of them told her to stop it. She should have known better. I'm just upset with all of them. I asked her, why did you come back to me, and not just stay there? She said she really wanted to come back and work on our marriage, that she wants to be with me, and she realized she wouldn't find another man who loves her as much as I do. I genuinely believe her. I feel like the experience she had with this man devastated her. I've been the only man she's ever been with, so I can understand a human desire to experience something else when you have the chance, but at the same time a marriage vow has to mean something. Now I feel betrayed and disgusted. but I don't know if it's worth it to go to counseling to work on this and forgive her, or if what she did is unforgivable and ending our marriage is the right option. It's hard to know what to do because there are so many things society, religion, and culture tells us about marriage, but at the same time life is hard, and being an adult is really hard. Is it human to try and forgive what a loved one did, or do we have strict rules we must adhere to no matter how much a person mean to us? We don't have any children, which makes divorce a realistic option. At the same time, I've invested 9 years in a relationship with her, and I feel like I can forgive her for making a terrible decision, yet it's hard to come to terms with how shitty she treated me and think that I deserve to keep her in my life. How am I supposed to know that's she being honest when she says she hates herself and wants to be with me? I've reached out to a therapist for myself and our marriage counselor for us. She'll need to book a therapist to deal with her own issues. Now let's see top comments. You don't have any children. You have a chance to make clean break. This sub is filled with stories like you, where they gave their cheating spouses second chance and how they regret it. Most of those guys are stuck with kids and they can't get out. So, think long and hard before you decide to reconcile. Also, your wife is blaming you for her infidelity. That's probably worse than cheating. Good luck. Op. Professional Pilot 45. Get out as cleanly and as fast as possible. You are barely out of the honeymoon stage of your marriage and she breaks her vows one of the few times she's away from you. The reason you feel betrayed and disgusted is that you've been betrayed and it is disgusting. Cut her off and move on, brother. There are far better options for you out there. Story_teller_618. Your issues had nothing to do with her cheating. The fact that you did this or didn't do that did not get her horny for another guy. The main reason she is willing to come back to you is because the guy blew her off and she realized you're all she's got. If the guy showed up at the last dinner, or if he didn't give her a possible STD, she would have been telling you she wants to separate to find herself. Then she would have explored it with high school crush to figure out which one she wants more, you or him. That probably will still happen. She will recontact him, one of her toxic friends will. I think you haven't gotten that in the past yet. If he contacts her and apologizes and says he wants another chance with her, I think she'd go for it. By the way, read the stories here. Cheaters are so predictable, it's like watching a movie. The villain and the hero always follow the same basic moves. Am I to assume that no condom was used? She came clean mainly because you caught her. She tried to delete and deceive, but she screwed up. Who doesn't bring up issues as if you are a mind reader, and then cheat, and then think the marriage is over? Yes, cheaters do that, but those are not the real reasons. Truth, no marriage is perfect, no one's life is just pure happiness. Long-term relationships get boring. People look back and wish things were better, like in the past, wanting the good things from the past but not the bad things from the past. Human nature. Grass is always greener. Ask to see the STD results. Ask her to take a pregnancy test. Ask her to send a no-contact message. And then block him. The toxic friends have got to go. People who are not friends of the marriage should not be her friends or yours. I doubt in several weeks it was only sex one time. I don't think it matters in the end if it was once or 20 times. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and also subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the notification bell as well.